Let's talk some Tennessee hoops, and that's brought to you by our friends at Dynasty Pools and Spas. We will jump in the hot tub for 4 Downs, brought to you by Dynasty Pools and Spas.
4 Downs brought to you by Dynasty Spas, the most comfortable spas made in the United States of America, right here in East Tennessee. Drop in for the all-new showroom in Athens. Dynasty Spas, perfect for all 4 seasons. 4 Downs, presented by Off the Hook Sports.
Do me a favor, take 1 second, hit that like and subscribe button. Take note of our sponsors below. That's why we're here. We appreciate that. It is time for First Down. Coop, what should people do?
Cooper Mays here. Hit like and subscribe. Coop here. First Down.
All right. First question I have for Caleb Calhoun, as he's going to be on the witness stand today. This is a bad loss for Tennessee, but how bad? It is a postseason tournament. We've seen teams respond either way from games like this. They get better, they come together, or they suddenly have a bit of a complex, and maybe it dings their confidence. Where does Tennessee go after this loss, and how bad of a loss is it?
It's a bad loss, but because of how they lost is why it's a bad loss. You can survive a random regular season loss. I want to give Lamont Paris, the South Carolina coach, a shout out. Part of the win yesterday was South Carolina. If you've ever seen Barnes' team defense and what they do, Lamont Paris realized that if you make the extra pass, the corner 3 is always open.
Yep.
And he schemed for that, prepared for it. They hit every corner 3. South Carolina picked to finish last in the SEC, is now 18-3, 6-2 in a road win at Tennessee. They're a good team, but it's a bad loss because Tennessee, we all thought Tennessee was past the days of just absolute horrid offensive games under Rick Barnes.
Long scoring droughts. Okay. And I'm going to lead you into all that. So, but you think it's a bad loss. I think it's a blip in the radar. I understand what you're saying about how they lost, and I want to get into that. What down, Coop?
Cooper Mays here. Second down.
Okay. So, were the Vols too reliant on Dalton Connect?
No. It wasn't that they were too reliant on Dalton Connect. It was that Jonas Adu didn't show up. I've told you guys the whole time this team goes as Jonas Adu goes.
You did.
Jonas Adu got.
You did. And by the way, guys, when Dalton Connect was emerging onto the scene, Caleb wrote that about Adu, and I thought, Caleb, maybe a little off here, because to me, it's Connect is the story. But you're right. If you don't have that supporting cast, Dalton Connect can go off for 45, and you're not necessarily going to win.
Put it this way, guys. I'll just give you an example. The Michael Jordan Bulls, when Michael Jordan was dropping 63 and 50 points a game and losing to the Celtics in the playoffs, it wasn't until the Bulls got an interior presence in Horace Grant that they were winning championships. The Bulls went as their inside game. Even though Michael Jordan was the most important player on the team, they only won when they had a strong interior presence, whether that be Horace Grant or Dennis Rodman or something.
That like just happened. Caleb Calhoun compared Dalton Connect to Michael Jordan.
I'm your Huckleberry.
Whoa.
I'm saying, but relatively, like, no matter what Dalton Connect does, he's got to have inside help. And Tennessee, this team goes as Adu does for one reason. Dalton Connect's going to score no matter what. They got to shoot well from 3. They were horrendous from 3 last night, going 5 of 21. Why was that? Because Adu was useless under the basket. And if you don't, we saw this last year with Uras Plavchik, guys. If you are not an offensive threat underneath the basket, you will not have the open looks from the 3-point line. And that is a problem. Adu was horrible last night. I give 90% of this loss on Adu. I put 90% of this loss on Adu.
Okay, he cannot do it all by himself. I saw you there, Travis. Third down, Coop. Yeah, that is crazy. Easy, Tracy Morgan. Third down brought to you by Dynasty Pools and Spas. Remember, if you mention the Off the Hook Sports, you get $500 off a spa that may already be discounted because of first responders, military, and also slightly blemished models. They're in Athens, and they'll deliver to you. Everything is included. That means the chemicals. That means the cover, the steps, the whole 9 yards. They'll deliver to you. You'll absolutely love it. Dynasty Pools and Spas, great selection, great prices. Mention Off the Hook Sports. We would greatly appreciate that. Cooper, we on third down?
Tennessee center Cooper Mays here. Third down.
All right. So what did you learn about this basketball team in a loss that you did not know? Give me something, because I know you know a lot, Caleb, but give me something.
that they still don't have the front court depth they wanted. I thought they found it with JP Estrella. They didn't. Adu got in foul trouble. Toby Awaka came out. He was okay. JP Estrella was only out there for 4 minutes. And if Barnes wants this team to go far, he's got to get his other guys playing more minutes. There are just not enough minutes. There are not enough people logging double-digit minutes in this game and on this team, and too many people logging 30 minutes or more. And so the big thing I learned was that Tennessee's front court depth. Ron Slay said it 3 weeks ago on our show. I kind of pushed back because I saw JP Estrella emerge right after that. Well, Adu was horrible last night and was in foul trouble, and Barnes still wouldn't put Estrella in. And people are going to say he should put Estrella in. Dave, you covered enough teams in football and basketball. If a player's not being put in, it's usually because of the player, not the coach, right?
Typically. What down, Coop?
All SEC center Cooper Mays here. 4th down.
Thank you, Coop. 4 downs brought to you by Dynasty Pools and Spas. Does this change your projection for Tennessee basketball because of what South Carolina was able to reveal about the Vols, especially that corner 3? I asked Caleb that. 60 seconds, Dynasty Pools and Spas. Having the best spas made right here in the United States of America in your backyard. Dynasty Pools and Spas. Their showroom is open in Athens, right off the interstate. You can stop by and check out the best hot tubs and spas in the market. And in delivery, yes, they can do that to Knoxville or Chattanooga. They've got complete support, spa cover, and chemicals to keep your spa bubbling at its best. They also have pool chemicals as well. Dynasty Pools and Spas, amazing discounts for first responders, military, and even some blemish models that can save you a ton, and no one will ever notice. Mention Off the Hook Sports, get $500 off. Mention Off the Hook Sports, get $500 off. Dynasty Pools and Spas. Go to dynastypoolsandspas.com or stop by that showroom in Athens. dynastypoolsandspas.com. Dynasty Pools and Spas. All right, so Caleb, just change your projection at all for Tennessee basketball. I have them as an Elite 8 team. I'm not ready to go Final Four because of Barnes' history, but I think they're better than a Sweet 16 team. Does this change what you saw? Any deficiency that you're like, I think I'm going to drop them down a little bit?
Yes, and it's
Ouch.
because of their and it's because I thought that they were going to find a 9th or 10th guy. Guys, this team has no depth. This team has no depth, and on the second night in a tournament, on the second game of a weekend, that's going to expose themselves. So this team has no depth. I want to give SC South guy a shout out. He kept saying, he's been telling us all weekend, we just haven't been paying attention on the message board, that South Carolina has an underrated defense and is a really good team.
Yeah. No, I thought Tennessee came in. South Carolina came in very, very underrated. I did think, we didn't have a chance to talk much basketball because of all that's been going on, but I thought this was a great opportunity for a donut game that they would get beat in. I thought this would be very tight. I think, I covered Lamont Paris for a while at UTC, so I know him. And I thought that Tennessee would have a challenge on their hands, and they did.
He basically, Lamont Paris made a gamble, and SC Scout guy pointed this out earlier, and he's right. One, the corner 3 I told you. He also said, and this is what I told you, he said he did exactly this is why I brought up Dalton Connect with Michael Jordan with your Celtics in the 85 series with Bird and McHale. What did they say, Dave? They said, we'll let Michael Jordan get his points. We're just going to make sure no one else scores. Lamont Paris basically said, we'll let Dalton Connect get his. We're not letting anybody else get theirs.
And to point out, he had that 60 points against Larry Bird where he made him look very stupid, double crossover. You remember the fadeaway pass? Yeah. They lost that game. The Bulls lost that game.
Yeah, because the Celtics didn't care.
But you don't remember it like that. You're like, oh, he scored 60 points in the Garden. Well, they lost.
They lost.
As much as I like Connect to be able to take over a game, it doesn't mean that everybody else can just take a night off if he's scoring. AndyMasonRealEstate.com, 4 decades, a combined experience in East Tennessee, best prices, best service in the Knoxville area. AndyMasonRealEstate.com, AndyMasonRealEstate.com. You said you got a hot one for me, so what do you got? I'm ready.
All right. So, by the way, SC South has another great point where he said Tennessee, whenever they're number 5 and they play South Carolina, they give up 63 points. But
hey guys, I'm not kissing up to be nice, but seriously, I've done some sort of broadcasting with feedback, be it callers or emails. We actually have like the smartest community that if you're listening for the first time and be a part of a smart community where you learn stuff day in and day out, hit the like and subscribe button because these guys are fantastic. So what's your super hot take?
Well, I want to know what your thoughts are on this, Dave. Again, Dante Plowman was cheered at halftime of the game last night, standing ovation. We all know what was going on yesterday. It was throughout all of Knoxville. Do you think the distraction of the NCAA investigation could have had an impact on the players being lethargic last night?
That's hot.
No doubt.
You think it did?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, because you're asking why is it? I mean, let's face it, a lot of them don't know who Dante Plowman is, probably. So you're like, why is everybody cheering the older lady? And
they probably learned before the game tipped off last night, though. That thing was trending everywhere. By the time the game tipped off,
maybe they
knew.
did, but their 2 hours are usually cell phoneless before the game. I'm not
that
saying
thing
they did.
Her statement came out at like 2.
Yeah, I'm not saying they did or didn't, but you wonder if something like that's a distraction. Because at the very least, you would wonder, like if you're one of those 4-year players, I'm not talking about the connects of the world, man. If Tennessee's in NCAA problems, what does that mean for me? No cafeteria on Sundays. I mean, so yeah, I mean, I think that it's natural for that to be a distraction. I don't think that's nearly as much of a reach as I thought you were going to give me. Some of those, Peyton Manning thinks this.
They're like, that is total bullshit.
But instead,
That's hot.
all right.
Yeah, I think it was a very big distraction, and I've kind of thought this going in. Now, that's not South Carolina's defense was superb. Again, Lamont Paris coached a superb game yesterday, but the telling stat, Dave, 12 of 20 from the free throw line. That's the one that stands out.
Okay, so Derek said something that Rick Barnes' teams have always had random bad shooting nights since Texas. He's known for this. It's why I never got excited about Tennessee basketball since he's been there. I agree with that, but I thought Dalton Connect would be the guy that could get you out of a scoring drought, and I still think he can. But there just seems to be times it's not necessarily the scoring droughts anymore to me. It's not necessarily not putting the ball in the basket. It's just a lack of intensity, which leads to those problems. And to me, that's purely a coaching thing. I don't care who your players are. Now, this I want to get your opinion on. By the way, SC Scout guy, who's a South Carolina guy, says he thinks that Tennessee is totally fine. I do too, by the way. I think you lose these games in the SEC. That's just what things are. Dylan Plowman, who we're not sure if he's related to Dante Plowman or not, says Vescovi has progressively gotten worse, in my opinion, and JJJ is so dang inconsistent. Then boys have to put up some more shots and effort. I'll say this about Vescovi, and he lost his grandmother, and I want to be as empathetic as I possibly can. And listen, I was very close to my grandmother, so if he said, I'm giving up basketball and I want to do missionary work because I understand there's bigger things in life, I would respect that. But what you can't let happen is you can't let this stretch out the entire season because your grandmother wouldn't want that. You're not going to be happy with yourself looking back. If that was a life-changing event and you need to take a new direction in life, I respect you. If he said, I want to give it basketball tomorrow, but you don't want to let this continue to be a distraction.
Well,
no, that she wouldn't want that.
Yeah, but Vescovi's found himself, guys. Vescovi over the last 3 games has scored 10, 12, and 10 points. Oh, during that time period, he is 10 of 22 from 3. Vescovi's back. Now, Josiah-Jordan James, I'm going to tell you guys what the problem with Josiah-Jordan James is, and it's the same problem you guys said with the missed layups last night. Dave, what's the biggest result of missed layups? What's the biggest cause of missed layups and missed free throws outside of lack of focus or intensity?
I really don't know where you're going here.
Fatigue.
Fatigue.
And Josiah-Jordan James is logging 30 minutes a night because here's what Barnes is asking Josiah-Jordan James to be the preeminent perimeter defender while also helping Adu defend the post. He's gassed on offense, guys. And this is the problem. I told you guys this 2 weeks ago. Barnes is running 8 guys. Josiah-Jordan James' legs are gone. He should be practicing right now. He's so tired.
And listen, everybody, pump the brakes. And I'm talking to you too, Caleb, on your thoughts on the expectations of Tennessee in the NCAA tournament. So I'm putting this on you. They beat Vanderbilt, which is a rival. And they have Kentucky.
Okay, that Vanderbilt team is terrible.
Hold on. And they have Kentucky coming up. I mean, this is the classic donut game, a team that's right outside the top 25 and wants to prove itself against the top 5 team.
Yes, but this is the way they lost. They are tired. They are tired right now. If you're
Well, the
tired
game
before,
was
and
on-
it's not February. It's not even February, and they're tired because Barnes is not running enough guys.
Okay, that may be the case. It just doesn't change the way I look at Tennessee moving forward. Trex said we look flat. Trex also says Caleb's right.